Every time if the preacher preached too long, or if the, getting Sunday school done and getting our potluck dinner, they better get it done in a hurry because if there was a home game, my folks and quite a lot of other people, we were out of there.
The religion is something that they shared in, as far as it wasn't church, but it was something they could celebrate. It was something that they could visit with their neighbors. It was something that they could just experience together and not be at home.
Nothing is more American, of course, than baseball, the great American game that brings young and old together to share the enthusiasm.
Yes, we're very rural, but the only show in town was the baseball team. There's no municipality, that's for sure, so it was accessible at a shorter distance for those people, and that's where they met family, friends, and celebrated in baseball, no different than they'd celebrate at a church.
Well, I think back then, for sure, there wasn't a lot of other things to do.
Tommy! Come on, supper's ready. Gee, Ma, we want to finish the game.
Every little community was playing amateur baseball. I mean, they had their spikes and their baseball gloves and wool uniforms, and they got together. It was more of a social picnic activity because the ball diamonds were pretty rough. Those communities were just suffering and getting smaller as land was being purchased and people were getting old, and it was just the transition. There had been some land that had been donated at Hayes, and it was donated for the idea of building a baseball diamond and playing baseball there. And at the same time, at the corners, which is the corner of 34, 14, and 63, the highways, there was 10 acres that was also donated. Like, if you guys want to play baseball, here, we've got some dirt for you. They'd had 3 meetings, and it always ended at a stalemate because they had pros and cons of both locations. And I guess the story is that my Grandpa Percy stood up at the meeting and said, if you put it over here, my boys will take care of it. And supposedly the gavel dropped, and that's why it's where it's at. And they incorporated Four Corners Lighted Field Association. They actually sold certificates of ownership. Obviously, they knew there was going to be no return, but it was the way that the people invested in this project. That, again, is a gift. The poles came from Ohio and Wisconsin, and they were already in the dirt once, and they had them shipped on the rail. They got them from Midland, which is 20 miles south of the ball diamond. They dollied them up, put axles underneath them individually, and there's 10 of them. So not only to get them from point A to point B, how'd you find them?
Electricity works day and night, around the clock, doing all kinds of jobs. Nobody would choose to be without it.
They propositioned West Central Electric for a bulk rate because they knew that we're going to turn on the lights. We don't need the county to be in a brownout. Did their math, came up with a bulk rate based on what they anticipated these lights would draw. And the farmers and ranchers did the math, and they put in 5 meters, which was cheaper than the bulk rate would have been. They put meters on half the poles. It's fascinating to me that they could have the intestinal fortitude to search these things and then find them and acquire them. I just think it would be an overwhelming task, and they did it.
I looked forward to every Sunday playing baseball. And then when the lighted fields came in, that was something different. It was something to have a lighted field put in the middle of, might say, nowhere. It developed into quite an attraction for this whole area. We liked it. I don't know, added a little bit of spark to the game, you know. It was a little tougher playing under the lights when you first played under them. I mean, especially a long fly ball or something like that. You know, it was different judgment, you know, you might say. Like in the infield, when I played third base, I picked up, you know, a little bit quicker at night, seemed like, than I did, you know, in the broad daylight. It made you think that you could have been playing under the big leagues.
Today, more than 1/3 of the major league games throughout the country are played at night, under lights, accounting for almost 40% of the more than 20 million tickets sold each year.
Just like something you dreamed about. And then here you are out there playing. But I like playing under the lights. I did. I really did.
I tell you what, my folks, we'd be there early in the game. My mother, I think she even made a picnic lunch so we could eat and get a good sparking spot to watch it. To see Four Corners with that many cars around it and everywhere, the camaraderie of that thing was because of the people that were in it.
Roy Norman is the motivation behind the Ball Diamond in its essence. The philosophy of how it got started was just don't play baseball to play baseball. You better be good. We're not just going to build a ballpark and we're not going to play baseball. We're going to be competitive. And then there's a lifetime of stories on the angles and different things that they took in order to be competitive.
He would put an article in wanted, farm worker, preferable either a baseball pitcher or a catcher. We wanted a winner, whatever it took to get one, you know. I know a couple times he had pitchers as far away, maybe as Texas. If they was a good ball player, they got hired.
If you've ever seen old pictures, black and white pictures, these men are wearing a white t-shirt, baggy blue jeans, and they are solid steel. There isn't any fat on them. They ate beef, they ate potatoes, and they had pie for dessert, and then they went and worked it off. So the opportunity, what I'm assuming, for them to play is probably pretty important to them. Just to get away from work, because work, I'm assuming, was brutal. I'm indebted to them for everything that I've ever experienced over there, because they committed to something that was a high risk at that time. They're just starting. And the guys that are still around that are part of it, and the guys that are gone, they're all a part of it, whether they're here or not. They got it started for the next generation. And I think what we share is the want or need to play. And I'm glad that that's a thing, because otherwise I don't think it'd be here.
Well, I think about the days when I used to play catch and play third base, and it brings back a lot of good memories. A lot of good memories. But now, just been looking for somebody to play with, you know. So I might have to call on you.